I'm going to move this because I'm getting weird. No, I'm on wired, but
creaking.
No, it's not that. It's if you listen to it, it's like an electrical sort of
so
weird
like
box.
This one instead.
Well, I'm just wondering, maybe because I've got like
no,
they're all
fair
cable.
do.
That's radio. I don't know if it's what I've got a dodgy cable.
No.
I don't know if it's.
Completely. Have a listen. Yeah, it's definitely not this then. Typical, isn't it? Probably haven't been doing it all day.
Search one. Doing something weird.
In truth, no breakthrough. Good meeting, half an hour, warm. Prime Minister was there, the Foreign Secretary was there. Talked quite openly about having tried a number of different things to get Nazanin home. We pressed him to be brave, much as I said in public. I want him to push forwards on improving relations, so some of the underlying issues to be solved. They talked about how there were complexities there, and also to say, listen, you need to be imposing a cost on Iran for holding innocent people as leverage, and you've got to be brave there as well. And I talked about, listen, I had conversations where the government's quite reluctant to put Iran into a corner. I think you need to in this case. Like, it's just unacceptable to hold innocent people. Please look at ways of doing that. So we talked through generally. I don't think I'd come away thinking Nazanin's coming out tomorrow or even next week, and I'll think carefully what I tell her on the phone on Saturday about where the hope is to come. And I think there remains that gap between my sense that the government needs to be tougher with Iran, alongside improving relations generally, and the Foreign Office instinct to not have things escalate, and an administration that is very keen to see the UK as an enemy and it doesn't want to be. But we'll see. The other thing, we gave the Prime Minister a little wallet that Nazanin had made in prison, in Evin prison. So he took that away and was touched. It was. It was a gracious visit. So I'm deeply appreciative of him giving up the time and for all the staff that were there.
It sounds like you want to put more pressure on Iran, though. How would you want him to do that?
Look, I think. The government doesn't always say it, but in my view, Nazanin is being held hostage. I think that is unacceptable in any measure. I think the UK needs to get together with other countries that are affected, and needs to be calling Iran out for this, and needs to be working with allies, and that's with the US as well as with the Europeans, as well as with Canada, as well as with everyone that's affected, to just find a way of having some sort of accountability. We talked in there about something like Magnitsky sanctions, which you can't do at the moment, but once we leave the EU, you could do. I think there does need to be a really clear, targeted consequence for the Revolutionary Guard, who are the guys who are holding Nazanin and holding many others, that they don't think of this as a clever tactic. It's not. And we're in that place where, Nazanin, her mummy, is being held and used as a chess piece. That wasn't disputed in there, whatever the terminology. And the UK obviously is wary of that sort of tightrope it's walking between the US and Europe in Iran relations and the JCPOA and the dispute mechanism and so on. And I was saying, I think this is different. I think this is a global norm, that actually we all uphold universal values where hostage taking shouldn't be happening. So we talked about that. We obviously talked about the fact that there is a court case happening somewhere else in London at the moment, and we've been linked to it. I think it's important that there is progress on that. And there's progress in the way that is, everyone feels it's lawful and following proper process. We'll see where that goes. They said, listen, I promise you, we're doing all we can to try and resolve that. We're doing all we can to try and resolve other issues. It's just complicated.
Richard, how difficult has the last couple of weeks been with tensions being inflamed in the region and the crisis there? How hard has that been for you as a family?
So I think probably the immediate escalation with particularly the assassination of Qasem Soleimani and then the plane was terrifying. Terrifying in the way that gosh, what's going to happen? And that selfish level of what does that mean for us, in that just will we ever get out of prison, which was Nazanin's instant reaction. And she was having panic attacks every night and not sleeping and really traumatised, and that would get down to the prison clinic to be checked and so on. And then as things calm, we've obviously seen them escalate in other ways, in that what we saw was protests being blamed on the British ambassador, him being arrested, effigies being burned, and I became very concerned that we're going to see a new wave of arrests and a new wave of people being taken to justify an external blame. The message I was sending in there, and the message I was sending to the ambassador I met him earlier this week, was you have to be preventative. I think that is a risk. I think there really is. Your job as the government is to protect people, not just about Nazanin. There's a bigger picture here. And that's protect those who are held, but protect others from being taken. So that's partly why I call for them to be a bit, to be tough and to be clear and to have clear red lines.
Did he make any personal commitments, or did he apologise for what he said in 2007?
So we didn't talk about the past. He was very clear that he was personally committed to doing what he could. Talked about a variety of different things that they had considered doing, and that if there was anything that they could do, almost within reason, that they would be ready to do it. I come away feeling that yeah, he cares and he's committed. Certainly the Foreign Secretary was very caring as well, and we'll be following up with him in the coming weeks on some of the points that we discussed.
Gabriella said last time that he would leave no stone unturned, and not a lot happened, to be honest. What gives you hope that he means what he says this time?
Well, I don't stand here hopeful, if I'm honest. Like I stand here with my wife still in prison, and things aren't moving. And we said, okay, well, we think this needs to solve, and we think this needs to move, and there was a caution on both points. So my job is to keep going and keep pushing. I don't doubt his personal commitment to Nazanin. He was clearly touched by the fact that Nazanin had made him a wallet. But I don't sit here stand here complacently thinking that it'll all be okay tomorrow. My job is to keep visible, to keep her visible, and to keep the government honest.
How is Nazanin?
So I spoke to her yesterday. She was, relatively speaking, all right. I was saying inside, I'd been warning the Foreign Secretary, I think, post-Christmas that she'll, that we'll have another hunger strike or something. And actually, she's not quite as bad as that. You can feel it bubbling up. She obviously was terrified 2 weeks ago, is despairing, is on all sorts of medication and beta blockers to calm her heart, and there are physical manifestations. She was saying that she's lost the ability to pick things up at the moment because of the nerves in her neck and her hands. So there's problems. It's not easy, but yeah, it's not the despairing conversations I've had sometimes.
Richard, you've got your daughter home now. Your family
Yes.
is far from complete. How difficult is it to maintain any sort of family life with Gabriella?
Yeah, well, certainly this is obviously a surreal experience for a 5-year-old. And yeah, when I went in yesterday to put the note for absence of school, it was a proper excuse I had. I think that's right. We Gabriella came back 3 months ago. I think our relationship is much stronger now than it was 3 months back. There's less of a stepdad dynamic, but still, it's a lot to process when you're small. It's a lot to find your way through, and I'm grateful to everyone for helping us the space to do that. One of the lovely thing about Christmas, obviously, was that we had a real Christmas, and Father Christmas came, didn't he? Brought you some headphones. But obviously for Nazanin, life moves on for us, and she's stuck there. So it's a challenge in a different way from before. I think, that one always wants to try and protect your children from the world. In some ways you can't in this situation. Try and explain to her what's going on, and she'll often have days where she'll ask when's Mummy coming back, and we'll cry why Mummy's not there and why did this happen to her. But she's still 5.5, which means that we're doing this and then we're off to McDonald's, and the simple things in life are still worth focusing on.
Did Gabriella say anything?
Did you declined apple juice, didn't you? Prime Minister made you some apple juice. And then you saw, who did you see? What was the name of the cat? Larry, wasn't it? You saw Larry the cat.
You've got a toy of Larry the cat.
And you've got a toy cat. Didn't you want to show the toy cat? Go on.
Let me see it.
Going to show the cat?
I don't think many people come out with a bag of goodies.
There we go.
Normally.
Are you going to call him Larry? No. Not going to reveal what we're calling him. So bless her, shy, did some colouring. The staff were lovely, actually.
What are you going to say to Nazanin when you next speak to her? How are you going to describe what happened behind that door?
I don't know, it's the honest answer. I think we'll wait to see how the week plays out in other places. Look, she lives in a waiting room, huh? Like she's waiting for something to hold on to that it's going to move. I don't come out being able to offer anything to say, listen, it'll be moving soon. I can offer the assurance that I come away as a human being feeling that there was a group of human beings in there that care for her and care for the situation. That's not worth nothing, that's worth something. And I've said tough stuff in the media at various points. But how will the next weeks go? We'll see how the next weeks go. Yeah, sympathy isn't enough to get us home, and we'll do what we need to do.
Richard, you've talked to the Prime Minister. Would you like to send in a message to Tehran, to the hardliners in Tehran who are holding your wife?
Yeah, look, I think our story has gone on for 4 years. We're quite clear that we're going to try and be a thorn in their side until she's home. I could ask for clemency. I'm not sure it would be plausible, if I'm honest, coming from me. They know that they're playing a game of chess with an ordinary person's life. I hope at some point they'll realise it's the wrong way to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Thank you all.
Your lunch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.